that's not right. On Half Price Books. And I have really great reproductions in it. The only paint I had to put out on my palette was white, and that was because it was running out. I put it in the fridge, in the bottom of my fridge, on Friday, and all the paint that was put out on the top there was still wet. It's raining today and it's chilly, so if you hear the heat come on, I hope it doesn't make too much noise or it's too distracting. If you had questions on how to start one of these, I'll do the same process that I did when I do the arms, or the hands, the lower part. So let me know in the comments what you all are working on. Is anything exciting? I probably shouldn't have rinsed that out. And that shaking sound was my dog. Poncho is always near me. That's a little different there than what she, and this painting is at least life size. I originally had thought she had done it in pastel, but when I saw the original, I was just, it was one of those where I was just blown away. It was just amazing. But it was done in oils. I find that I get away from oils, and then I always come back to them. Her nose is a little darker too. I usually paint much looser than this, and you could see it when I was doing the first part. But anyway, I I really like doing these master studies every once in a while. So I'm going to start doing these once a week. I wish I could do the arm portion in this sketchbook, but it's just not going to be possible. Because I won't be able to turn this page without. One problem too with working with these lights is there's a glare in certain spots, and it makes it hard to see what I'm doing. Ooh, that's in the wrong spot. This right here should be over here. So I will just paint over there. I hope everybody is healthy and safe. It is a crazy world we're living in. I mixed up some flesh tone here. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see the edge to work with to start. And it just like kind of a base. I'm not going to worry a great deal about let me put it this way. I don't want to worry a great deal about some of these areas. Some of this around here, although I probably should. It is all part of it. But I don't want to spend all of our time working on this particular one. I want to give us some time to do the other one, so you can see it from beginning to end, hopefully. I wish this was still wet. This whole, I really like working wet and wet. But this weekend just I didn't get it. And I knew it wouldn't be dry. Enough to turn the page. I probably could have after I looked at it this morning, but I didn't think it would. If and that makes sense. Let's see what we got here. I do have the cooler lights on. I've been here for 21 minutes, so it's not too bad. I hear my AC or my heater coming on. These edges were rougher. Just kind of rough it up a little. Rough it. I'm in Kansas and it's a little chilly. Not terrible. But we do need the heater on. I don't want to make this so it's just a copy and not a master copy, if that makes sense. So she says as she proceeds to imitate brush strokes. I bought some Sennelier oil paint. I got the new brushes. And I've never used it before. I only got one tube of something that I needed because I have a lot of oil paint. But if anybody's used it, let me know what you think of it. I haven't even opened the tube up yet. It's just a it's just ivory black. But yeah, let me know what you think of it, or if there's a brand of paint that you like. What do you use? Saw that coming. A little blue in there on the hair. No biggie. I won't tell anybody if you don't. I've noticed my oil paint dries exponentially faster without that walnut oil. So every time when I normally would be dipping in water, if I was using acrylic, I'd dip just a little bit into the walnut oil. And it seems to keep just enough. just seems like she does almost like a cross hatching at times. I don't know if you can see it on the arm there, but it's like instead of putting putting color down in like flat brush strokes, she's using it to cross hatch. Is that blue? I can't tell. You can see those white marks in here. I'm not going to try and emulate them because I'm afraid I would just mess up that whole area. Kind of like I did right there. I'm having a glare right here. I got some new books on Manet. The thing about getting books and not using images that you find online is that a lot of times online you won't get that high resolution image. And even if you are fortunate enough to find one, you know, it's hard to find one. Put it that way. So I've been using books to get my images from when possible. And then just take an image with my camera. And then I can control the amount of detail that comes up. I mean, there's still issues with printed material, depending on the printer and all that good stuff. Of course, I'm just yammering, so just tune me out unless you have a question or. That sound is mine. I don't know if you can hear it. Squeak. We'll see. I put these paints on my palette on Wednesday, Thursday, and because I've covered them, my palette has a cover. I put them in the fridge. The ones that I put out from the tube are still wet. Now these down here will dry faster because they're so much thinner, but it's just, yeah. That's one reason I was really looking to get another one of these palettes, but I have to take a knife and pull the cover off or pop it off. It won't come off very easily on its own anymore. But for me, that's a small price to pay to have my paints last longer. If I could find another one like it, I would. Come on, baby. Just kind of drawing out that black, drawing it down for her lashes. I had a lot of problems with this nose when I did it. The angle that she's got it at with the foreshortening really played with my with my sense of perspective. So I'm really glad I did it. I learned a lot from it. Okay, I think I've probably spent long enough on this. Let me start winding things up. And I'll get the other one out. Maybe I'll make it a excuse me. Maybe I'll make it a separate video too that you can view. Aside from just a live. That was too wide. And we will just wipe that off. And one thing I'm more used to also is the fact that oils don't dry as much as darker. In comparison to acrylics to when they're wet. Okay, let me just get this in there and I'll set this to the side. I think that's a pretty good comparison. Let me switch the light to the cool so you can see it better. Oop, that's not soft. Still a little yellowish. This over here needs some, if you'll forgive me, I am going to try and fix that. Part of it is this line is not distinct on here. Sometimes forget which brushes I'm using. By the way, this brush started out like this, and it's already stained. Because I've been using it. I mixed a little blue with burnt umber. Now I'm adding some white. Just to get that a little depth in there. I think I'm going to like these brushes. I could sit and pick at this all night long, and until it is just totally, the life has just gone out of it. So I keep picking. This does not have the shadow it needs. Okay, I'm gonna quit there. I've been picking at this for 40 minutes. And since this is live as I'm recording this, well, of course it's live while I'm recording it, but it's being streamed. Let me sorry, I can't get this one paintbrush. I'm going to What am I going to do? I saw something and it's bugging me. Sorry. I know I said. The great thing about using a glass palette is you can just scrape that stuff off with the razor blade scraper. And keep moving. It's really easy to clean off. I'm just trying to kind of blend that into the rest of it so it's not a okay. Let me go back here. So this is what I want to be working on right now. Let me. What is today? Hey Siri, or hey Google, what's today?
It's Monday, November 18th, 2024.
Something went wrong. Please try again.
That's what we're doing. Thank you, Siri. I'm just writing the original author, the medium that I used, and the date. I did put some white on here to help hopefully bring it out a little bit, but it didn't do it as much as I would have liked to have. I'm just trying to get this in here a little better. There, let's just call it. Oh, there's a red, blackish red spot there. I missed. Sorry, I'm probably going to be picking up this after I stop the stream. Knowing me. I don't know if this is like an apron cover thing that she's got on here. Her work is much more complicated than I gave her credit for, I think. I have worked on this one a lot longer than I had anticipated, not just today, but just overall. I'm just kind of glazing that a little bit with to make it darker. Kind of a neutral. Another problem I had with acrylic was that my white would dry so transparent, and I would have to keep applying it over and over, and I didn't like fighting with it. And this, I can just put the white down straight from the palette and it stays white. It's much more opaque in my opinion. I didn't work on this area over here. Sorry, I know I said I was getting rid of this one and starting on the other one. Let me be a woman of my word. Okay. This is what I want to be doing currently. Let me set this one over. This is where we wound up at. Where are we? Trying to get it so that you can get an even. Which I'm happy with it. I learned a lot from it, and it got me using my oils. The only downside is it's not going to be dry enough for me to shut it. So I've got this puppy here. Scooch some of this stuff. This is just a watercolor paper that I gessoed. Yeah, you can see it in there. Good job, Di. Let me change this over to the right image. There's the full image of that one. And see, we just did this area here, the head part, and now I want to do these hands, primarily the hands. I'm not too worried about the legs, just these hands right here, kind of stacked on top of each other. So that's what that is. Alex, hello. I started that one actually the other day, and I just thought it would be good to finish it up here. I just started at the top of the hour, but I worked on that one the other day. There we go. But I decided to stop there. I could keep picking at it, I know, and you know, this doesn't look right. It's this one. Yeah. Did I get the right one? Yeah, okay. But what I want to do is start at the very beginning on this one and just do a quick study. And if I don't get it done, if I don't get it done, I will just finish it next week, or If you prefer, I can start out with a fresh one next week. This is just, so far, this is, I've been doing this on Monday afternoons for a couple hours, and a lot of it depends upon what I'm working on in the studio for real. And this is just a watered down burnt umber. Not watered down, sorry, this is oils. I thin it down with mineral spirits. Oh, I thought this was, yeah, it's gessoed. Apparently I missed some right there. See how that's a different texture? I'd really like to have it centered. So I'm going to scooch it over. I did not get a very good, I hope I put the right side of this watercolor paper down. See, it's doing it all over there. You know what? Well, no. Let's just go ahead. Should we go ahead or should I fix it? I have plenty of other papers over here that I know are gessoed. This is the knee part. I'm just kind of blocking in areas. And then what I can do is I can come in here with some white and just kind of do an underpainting, or I can wipe this off also. Yeah, see, that's not, I don't know if that's going to work. This paper's being kind of funky. I could just take a rag and wipe the areas off, but I'm going to use my white. I'm really gonna have to move that up. Like this negative, not really negative space, this space right here between the, I guess it would be negative space between the, it's just white of her new dress. And the great thing about using poppy seed or walnut oil is it is fatter than most of the oils in the paints. So if I wanted to get this white, I could just white over that. I could dip it into a little bit of the walnut oil and go over it and see how that makes it whiter. This is going to be way off. Looks like I'm going to have to put part of that dress in there. Which is not that big of a deal. That's fine. I got her little hand, I think, too big. Because I think this is... You can really see what I was meaning about the cross hatching. Like right in here on this. Trying to get this into proportions that are more accurate. To what she has. which means I have to move things up and down and back and forth to make them fit. That needs to come down. That needs to come down. Okay. So in here we got dark area. I think we're doing okay. I've got some pinky already mixed here from earlier when I mixed some flesh tone. It looks a lot pinker in the light than that I've got the light set on. You can see I'm keeping it pretty thin at this point. That's so I can move it around easier. Because I'm still playing with the proportions. If you came here to see the head studies that I did, I set them aside so I wouldn't be picking at them, picking at it forever, because it was, in my mind, it's just a study. I will put a pic of the finished. On social media. I'm still not getting. See, I feel like this line is correct. Some of the others. I'm just mixing up a different flesh tone so that I can kind of start filling in some of these. That should be dark through there. I don't have a problem with these brush strokes showing up different than what she has here, as long as it's true to how I work and it still conveys the subject matter. Especially at this point, I'm not going to be worrying about getting the brush strokes exactly like how she has them. I'm just laying down color and getting the areas. I like these paintbrushes I got today. They have a nice heavy handle. They have some substance to it. I'm in the US, so because of recent possibilities of cost going up, I ordered some art supplies to ensure I was going to be set for a long while. I have a lot of oil paints, except for that ivory black that I got. I've had friends like whose parents have passed. Maybe they were artists. Problem with that is you have to be careful about toxicity because some of the paints, they've changed the formulas because they were so toxic. But as long as you're aware and you use safety precautions, I think it's okay. In my opinion, don't quote me. What I'm doing is I'm looking in a mirror to see if I see anything that's gonna switch to this smaller brush just for a little bit so I can get these fingers kind of drawn in. I should have bought me more smaller brushes like this when I ordered the ones I got today, but I didn't. But this is really a cheapie. I could probably get it at my local Walmart. Okay, let me draw this in some here. I said I was just going to do it on the fingers there, but as we can see, I'm doing it on more than that. Although her little hand is kind of chubby, it's not as chubby as how I have it. So and I know I didn't get that quite right there, but I'm going to let it go until I change to a lighter on my paintbrush, or clean out my paintbrush. Kind of reminds me of the tips of crayons right there, ironically. It's interesting, her marks she makes on there. They are not like the brush strokes that I'm putting down. They're more like she's layered it, or I don't know. I have to read up on it and see just exactly what she did there. See if I can find out. I don't know why I'm continuing to use this little brush. I need a bigger brush. And that one is just almost the perfect size, I must say. I did good with the buying paintbrushes. Aside from not getting a smaller round one like that one. Maybe I can find one local. on my shopping list. See, I feel like I'm getting small up here and too big down here. It helps a lot. It almost makes it look like her arm's hairy, the way that her marks look, because it's going. I wonder if she. Yeah, I'll have to find out about that. That's interesting. I say I'm not going to put her brush strokes down like hers, but then I start doing it. I plan on going until I hit the 2-hour mark total. So there's about an hour left. I don't know that anyone would want to sit and watch me do it that far. But I hesitate on going past the 2-hour mark. I'm just trying to kind of even out some of these areas and still get I'm still in the back of my mind, I'm working on proportions and perspective, because I know I may be way off here. But it's still pliable. It's still, I can still move stuff around, and I'm just stepping back, kind of looking at it. think what I'm going to do is rotate my view. This way. Still see most of it. Just while that's the great thing too about using a digital image is you can rotate it like this, and see, now I can look at it this way and see if I'm doing things the way I should. Because sometimes there's like curves and things that are just more visible if you change your view on it. Either that be with a mirror or, but I'm sure you all know that already. Down off. That needs to come up. See, and I think this needs to, all that needs to come up. That's what I was worried about, was I was getting this too thin, her hand too small, and the rest of it out of proportion to it. And I think I was. Said I wasn't going to worry too much about the legs, but see, now that looks like it needs to come down there. Shadow. It's a shadow. I wonder if maybe I should stop here, and then that way we can start on a fresh one next week and have it be this one, but not too, it hasn't been worked too much. You can see where I've just kind of blocked things in. I say that and I just keep working, don't I? But I think that's a good idea. And that way I can give myself some fresh eyes. Let me turn it back the way it was so it's better on the screen. I think that's what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and call it here for today. And I will work on this one next week. I'll try and have these in a playlist. Or I'll put these in a playlist so that if you're following one, you don't have to you know what I mean. But I'm going to leave that right there. I could pick at it and keep working. But this is where I'm going to leave it at for now. Let me change the temp of the lights I'm using too. And you'll be able to see more of the pink peachy color. See, this still looks off to me. This right up here. Like I need to bring it up. I think that helped a little. Just fill that out a little bit. Keep picking at it, don't I? That's one of mine. One of my downfalls. Okay, I'm gonna quit so that we can get as fresh a start next week as possible. And I can just set this whole thing aside. There was a glob there. Some paint. And maybe I can cut this down and tip it into the sketchbook so everything's in one place. If you're wondering what this palette is, I refer to, it's called a parallel palette. You can put it on an easel, or I'm sorry, a tripod, so you can have it upright or flat or however you want it. Since I'm working flat here, I just put it flat next to me. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Next week we'll do this one, and I will not touch it until then. And So if you turn over my paper towel so I don't get it everywhere. So if you join me next week, that's what it will be. And I'm seeing things. I'm seeing things on there that, not seeing things, but I'm seeing things on there that I want to change. I want to keep working at. Right there. That needs to go over. But anyway, wash the brush. I'm putting it up. I'm putting it up. So this will be what we're working on next week. Let me get rid of that share screen. I really need to work on my hands and my feet, and that's why I want to do this. So I'll see you next week. I hope you have a wonderful week, and if you have any questions, just put them down below in the comments and I will get back to you. I'm sorry if you came here to see one from beginning to end. I apologize. That's one reason I did this, so you can see how I kind of started it, which is the same way I started the. I did it backwards, I know, but I will try and do better in the future. But part of it was me switching over to oils. I couldn't flip the page in that other sketchbook. So if you came here for, let me get rid of this. Let me get this up here so I can get a screenshot. And I'll put this on the, this is what I was working on earlier. There we go. Okay. Thank you all for being here again. I will see you next week. And if I don't see you before then, stay safe and stay healthy. And I'll see you then. Bye all.